Let's sew a lid for this jar. And we're gonna do it the easy way because that's the name of the game today. So I measured this is 2.5 inches. You want something about 4 inches bigger than that just to give yourself room to wrap it around and down. And I found my Pyrex bowl, which is about the same as what I need on the top. So we're just gonna trace it. Leftover fabric from my daughter's Valentine's Day dresses, and I borrowed one of their Crayola washable markers. It usually comes out of fabric. I have not spot tested this because honestly, it's going in the seam allowance and I don't care. That's not gonna go on there. Reset. Okay. You get a circle and green on your bowl. But we're not talking about that part right now. So we need 2 of these. So I'm gonna cut this out in a second, but first we're gonna trace the exact same circle onto this red fabric. We're gonna find the most inobtrusive corner that we can. Perfect. Stick that in the sink and don't burn my husband. Let's go grab some scissors. It is currently 11:20. Let's see how quickly we can get this done. If I had a template and a rotary cutter, I could probably get it done faster. But let's just find out. So you're gonna cut both of your circles out. And I'm gonna shut up and hit fast forward on this. Very important when you're working on a time crunch to answer a phone call from your mom and tell her that you're working on something and then spend 5 hours on the phone. 5 minutes actually. But anyway, put my 2 pieces together, right sides together, sewed it together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, left an inch or so opening, probably less than I should have, which is honestly my usual. So got it stitched together. I took pinking shears all around the edge. You could just trim your seam allowance in half or something like that. Honestly, for this, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. It's just gonna give you a little bit nicer seam if you do it, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So yeah, we got it sewed together. We're gonna turn it right side out. I support lazy girl sewing through and through, but one thing I will never support being lazy about is ironing. Iron your seams. It's gonna make it so much better. If you wanna be lazy girl about ironing, I actually like ironing, but get a little mini iron and a wool pressing mat, and then you don't have to get up. You can just stick it right next to you, slide it on over. Now, if you have like a wool pressing mat plus a serger plus a sewing machine, then you're running into a bit of space problems, especially if you're like me, and so at your living room, not your living room, dining room table, it's not goo. It's literally just water that balled up on it. Okay. I thought this spit out some kind of gunk, and that was a little terrifying for a moment, but okay, we're gonna iron it nice and flat. We're gonna tuck in our opening that little bit so that when we go to stitch it later, it's already laying there and you're not fussing with it, because if there's one thing that makes me mad, it's trying to top stitch an opening closed. Trying to top stitch the opening when it doesn't want to line up. I don't like fussing with it. I really don't. Don't be lazy. Iron your work. Now, if you want to add a ruffle, there's a whole extra step. I'm lazy. I'm not adding a ruffle. I'm going to just go around this whole thing with a 1/2 inch seam allowance because I have 3/8 inch elastic. You can use whatever size elastic. I just happen to have a lifetime supply of 3/8 inch, so that's what I'm using. I'm going to sew it at a 1/2 inch seam allowance with no breaks, full circle all the way around. Ready, set, go. Just like that. Okay, elastic, jar, scissors, safety pin. We're keeping this simple. Could you measure? Yeah, sure. Who does that though? First, you're gonna stretch out your elastic though. Don't skip that step. Exercise the elastic, because then when you go to use it and it stretches out and things don't fit anymore and you're sad and you've wasted all of this time. We don't like to waste time. We like to be efficient. So you're gonna wrap this around here. You're gonna make sure it fits around the jar. You want it a little bit snug, so just take out a pinch. When you sew this together, you're gonna lose another little pinch. So you're gonna kind of take a little bit, make sure tape comes off easily, snippet. We guesstimated. I don't know. It goes around, and I have about that much of a gap. There you go. Maybe an inch gap. I'm not stretching it, so maybe an inch. I don't know. Do you, boo? Okay. We'll take. We're gonna fast forward this part too because honestly, nobody wants to sit here and watch me struggle with a safety pin. Okay, elastic is through. Woo, we're shaking. It's probably twisted in there, to be really honest. We're gonna overlap these and stitch them together. It's gonna look ugly. Wait for it. I wish I was lying when I said this is some of my better work. Zigzag stitching. Okay, you got them stitched together, no matter how ugly it is. And we're just gonna feed the elastic back into there. Just stretch the whole thing out a little bit. Your elastic will go back in. Good to go. And last step, the very last step, the last thing you have to do is find that opening, and we're gonna take it and stitch it shut with the tiniest seam allowance you can manage, trying really hard not to catch the elastic. But let me tell you a secret, if you do, it's not the end of the world. Okay, because I'm being a responsible adult, I am also going to even trim the strings. I know, the threads, those things. This is a step that I skip far more often than I should, or I only trim the ones that are really gonna show. Today, we're trimming all of them. If you can get yourself a little pair of scissors, it makes it slightly less painful. And just like that, you have a reversible hat for your jar that fits it. It's custom sewing, guys. You can make them fancier. You can make them with a ruffle, but you can also just make them easy because it's cute still. And it took 25 minutes. And that was with taking 50 breaks to talk to the camera and film myself like a narcissist. Anyway, happy sewing. Make your jar some hats, some festive seasonal ones, because life is short.